There's a quiet shift happening in Hollywood. Faces are looking softer, healthier, and more youthful. Not overfilled, just better. Lindsay Lohan's return to the spotlight a few months ago caused a massive wave of buzz. And more recently, there's been speculation about Anne Hathaway's new look. Some say it's from pulling her hair slick back into a tight ponytail. Others think she had a ponytail facelift because of a possible spotted scar. And others speculated it was from jawline filler, lasers, or even buccal fat removal. But one rumor stands out, which is that Lindsay, Christina, and Anne Hathaway are tapping into a new category of injectables designed to restore volume naturally without the heaviness of traditional filler. The product? Reneuva. Unlike anything else on the market, Reneuva works by creating a framework for your body to regenerate its own fat over time. The result is gradual, long-lasting, and most importantly, undetectable. To really understand why treatments like Reneuva are different, you have to look at where we started. Once upon a time, the only path to a lifted, youthful face was surgery. Facelifts were the gold standard, effective at pulling back the skin, but invasive. Then came fat transfer, which is when you take your own fat from one part of the body and inject it into another part. This was a step towards natural-looking volume, but still surgical. Then in the early 2000s, injectables hit the scene. First came collagen-based fillers like Cosmoplast and Cosmoderm. They delivered subtle results, but the effects faded fast and usually only lasted around 3 months. Then came Botox, FDA approved for cosmetic use in 2002, and this revolutionized wrinkle treatment by softening lines. Right after that, hyaluronic acid fillers like Restylane and Juvederm changed the game because, like fat transfer, you could add volume, contour, and lift all without surgery. But as with anything, more isn't always better. And we learned that with repeated use, hyaluronic acid fillers can build up in the skin tissue, attract water, and when overdone, or when too much accumulates in the skin, it can give a puffy, shiny, distorted, unnatural look. The kind of results that whisper filler face even when no one is saying it out loud. That's where biostimulators like Sculptra entered the realm. Instead of simply filling a space, it helps thicken your tissue, making it more firm and improving the quality by stimulating your skin to produce collagen and elastin, which are structural proteins that give the skin strength, elasticity, and bounce. And now treatments like Reneuva are taking it a step further. Reneuva is the first truly regenerative injectable designed to grow your own living tissue without surgery, without liposuction, and without the downtime of a fat graft. This isn't about stimulating structural proteins. It's a premium under-the-radar treatment that grows actual tissue, fat tissue, and fat is booming. According to this Elle article, the top-selling beauty product of 2024 on Amazon wasn't a wrinkle cream or contour stick, it was blush, the kind that gives cheeks that soft, rounded, youthful flush. And when Hailey Bieber launched her viral Baby Cheek Flush, it didn't just sell out, it captured exactly what this new era of beauty is all about. We used to chase away wrinkles. Now we understand that youth is in the fullness of the face. The pursuit of the baby face goes beyond makeup. Fat grafting procedures are up 50% according to a 2024 member survey from the American Academy of Facial Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery. The current popularity of fat grafting can be partially attributed to the fear of filler overkill. Fat is already a component of your face and body, so it looks more natural. Fat is different. It's living tissue. It's opaque, flesh-colored. It doesn't swell and unswell the way those starch jellies from fillers do. Fat has been described as the ultimate sustainable filler. It's your own cells repurposed to rejuvenate rather than just reshape. Reneuva, which stimulates fat, is especially appealing to patients seeking a more natural approach. It's an off-the-shelf injectable that doesn't require liposuction or surgery, and it can be done gradually in stages. Reneuva is what I've been doing. If you don't know me, my name is Emily Dowe, and I'm a PA who practices aesthetic medicine. And I'm here to share the real secrets behind how women and men are staying youthful, healthy, and hot. And let's be clear, it's not just about getting injectables or facelifts. If you want to maximize your attraction and maintain a youthful appearance, you need a well-rounded strategy. That's why I take an integrative approach to beauty and aging. That means I'm looking at the whole picture, not just your face. Because if you want to look healthy and attractive on the outside, you have to be healthy on the inside. So I'm going to share what I believe are the 3 groundbreaking principles that these women are doing and that you should implement if you want to look not just a few years younger, but a decade or 2 younger than your actual age. As some of you may know, I've been a big fan of the biostimulator Sculptra for over a decade. And I still am, because it was a game changer for me. Now that more people are catching on, it's having a bit of a moment. moment, but I hopped on that bus a long time ago. So all those years that I've been doing Sculptra, I've been collagen banking, which means I've been building my collagen reserves with each treatment. The idea is simple. The more collagen you stimulate over time, the better foundation you have as you age. But for the last several months, I've been fat banking with Reneuva, and I've been doing it gradually in stages. I treated my temples with Reneuva, and I'm pretty happy with the results so far, which I shared in this video. You can see my temples at times were very bony, and these are the results after 3 treatments. But treatments alone aren't the whole story. What really makes a difference is how early you start. Another reason these women likely look a decade younger is because they nip things in the bud when they see it. People who prioritize their looks don't wait until things go south. They start early. They not only rejuvenate, they prejuvenate. The idea of prejuvenation is fairly new. The term popped off in the last decade. In contrast to rejuvenation, which is the effort to get back something lost, in this case, youthfulness, prejuvenation is all about staying ahead of age before it leaves its mark. Most people engage in prejuvenation already. For example, using a retinol or retinoid at night would be considered prejuvenation. In other videos, we spoke about racial and sex differences when it comes to aging. Men and women age differently, and people with lighter skin, especially if they have lighter skin and lighter eyes and light hair, if they're naturally blonde, for instance, they tend to age faster because they're more susceptible to sun damage. But what people seem to forget, and I say this because I get comments on my channel and there are known slogans. I'm not going to mention them. We've all heard them. That being said, at the end of the day, we're all going to age. It will catch up to you no matter what color your skin is or what sex you are. The difference between what separates a person who decides to remain looking young is that they know what's going to happen and they decide they're going to do something about it. Once they start seeing the early signs of facial aging and not wait until things get worse before they decide to intervene. And the beauty of living in the world we live in today is that there are so many non-surgical, non-invasive ways to intervene early. But sometimes surgical procedures may be needed. And I say this because some of you may be thinking, didn't Lindsay Lohan or some of these women get a facelift? Maybe, maybe not. We'll never really know. And let's be honest, they're not going to tell us. But here's what I can tell you. None of these women looked significantly older in their appearance. Even if Lindsay did have a facelift, that alone wouldn't account for what we're seeing. A facelift won't give you better skin quality, and her skin does look noticeably better. And Reneuva is known to give you better skin quality because it regenerates fat tissue, and fat gives the skin a softness and a glow. I actually think what's making Lindsay look so different now is the change to her facial features and the fullness to her face, which could be from dissolving her fillers, but it also looks like she lost weight. You can see it in her face. Or perhaps she had buccal fat removal. But one of the biggest changes seems to be that she treated all the freckling and sun damage she used to have. Some people are more prone to sunspots, freckling, and hyperpigmentation, which can lead to an uneven skin tone, and Lindsay is one of them. And clearing that up can dramatically change someone's appearance, even more so than surgery in some cases. You can lift and revolumize all day, but if your skin quality isn't there, it shows. This is why sunspots, pigment, and sun damage need to be addressed too. Aging shows up in more than one way, and her dermatologist in Dubai even emphasized the importance of personalized skincare regimens. But let's face it, injectables, chemical peels, lasers, or a solid skincare regimen aren't the only things keeping these women looking decades younger. What I'm about to tell you is, in my opinion, the most underrated factor in looking youthful, healthy, and attractive, and that is maintaining a fit, lean physique. There's evidence that exercise, especially resistance training, can support skin health and slow the visible signs of aging to help maintain firmness and elasticity of the skin to some extent. Exercise increases blood flow, which boosts oxygen and nutrient delivery to skin cells, and this supports collagen production and promotes overall skin health and glow. Also, some studies suggest that resistance training may stimulate the production of collagen and elastin. Exercise also lowers chronic inflammation, which is a major driver of aging. A 2015 study found that people over 40 who exercise regularly had skin profiles similar to significantly younger individuals. Even on a cellular level, their dermis was thicker and more resilient. Maintaining fitness also makes it easy to see what you're dealing with when it comes to facial aging. Because when you're overweight, the abundance of facial fat is disguising the aging process. All of those people who are losing weight with or without the help of GLP-1 drugs were in for a rude awakening when they lost the weight. Because when their facial fat went, so did the abundance of volume that was masking sagging, wrinkles, and the skin's structural loss. Now you may be thinking, wait a second, didn't you say in other videos that people who are very fit can actually look older? older? Yes, in general, people with less body fat usually have less facial fat, which can make them look older because there's less softness to cushion lines, sagging, and hollowing. But here's the flip side. Being very fit can also change the way your skin tissue sits against your face. And that's the part we haven't spoken about enough. All three of these women have at some point lost weight, some more dramatically than others. Christina has gone from skinny to fuller to fit. Lindsay appears noticeably leaner than she was a few years ago, and Anne Hathaway's weight has been known to fluctuate with roles. But there's speculation that one reason she looks more sculpted and lifted lately is because she may have dropped just 5 to 10 pounds. It doesn't have to be a dramatic transformation. Even modest weight loss can change the facial structure. When you lose fat, especially in the mid-face, the underlying bone structure becomes more defined, and this can create the illusion that the skin is tighter or more lifted, not because the skin is stronger, but because it's sitting closer to the framework beneath it. It's that sucked in, more compact look that naturally resists sagging. This is exactly why I think the best candidate who can avoid a facelift is someone who's not just a healthy body weight, but also fit with well-developed muscle tone from regular strength training, and also someone who has good underlying bone structure, especially to the jawline, because it helps anchor the skin tissue to the lower face and helps prevent jowl formation. So yes, facial fat keeps things youthful, but sometimes a little less of it can actually make the face look more refined and structured. It all depends on how it's managed and what it's paired with. And that's where injectables like Reneuva can come in to help with the loss of elasticity and to revolumize the face. And it can help improve the quality of the skin by adding fat and collagen, because with Reneuva, you're highly likely getting both, because Reneuva has collagens in it and it stimulates fat, and your fat also contains collagen. But it's important to know exercise and eating healthy won't replace aesthetic injectables or a facelift. And I say this because I often get comments like, you won't need a facelift or injectables if you just eat healthy and exercise, avoid processed food, or be a vegan. You cannot exercise, diet, or yoga yourself out of facial aging. I don't care how healthy you eat or how much yoga you do, but that doesn't change the fact that eating healthy, exercising, and doing weight training is a very smart integrative anti-aging strategy, because it helps you preserve what you have, and it can slow skin aging, and it works beautifully when combined with regenerative injectable treatments. But there's another thing that exercise and strength training do that's very powerful, and that's that it helps maximize your attraction because it makes you healthier. And in nature, we're hardwired to be drawn to people who appear healthy because health signals survival and fertility. And for women, that connection is even stronger because our fertile window is shorter than men's. This kind of explains why men, more often than women, are biologically inclined to be attracted to youthfulness. It's a visual clue of fertility. But here's a part that doesn't get talked about enough. You can look fit and healthy on the outside and still be experiencing a decline internally, because as we age, those hormone levels start to shift, and with that shift comes visible change. And that brings us to the third principle: hormones. Hormones are some of the most powerful chemical messengers in the body. They drive everything from energy to sleep to skin quality, fat distribution, and libido. And losing them doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how you look, because a huge part of physical attraction is tied to how fertile you appear for both women and men. Just that with women, the cliff goes somewhat like this after menopause, whereas a man's cliff is a bit more gradual, and this has a lot to do with a more abrupt pause of female fertility. But men age too, and while this shift is often more gradual, hormonal decline still impacts how they look. They get less muscle tone, softer features, and diminished energy over time. They start to lose visual markers of strength and vitality that signal health and masculinity. So I've made it my mission to educate my patients on what's coming, because when we know what to expect, we can actually do something about it. That's why I've recently gone deep into my own hormone journey to learn everything I can about the most effective ways to optimize hormones. I'm an injector that has always taken an integrative approach, which is why I don't just make videos about filler or Botox. I make videos about fat, health, and attraction. And I've said in other videos that I think it's best for patients to lose weight before considering certain cosmetic treatments. And because hormones likely affect how well you're going to respond to regenerative treatments, if your hormones are optimized, you're likely going to have better results with regenerative injectables like Reneuva or biostimulators like Sculptra. Because hormones, as we've discussed in other videos, affect not only the collagen in our skin, but also our facial fat. Regenerative injectables models are growing. And I'm really excited that we have more options other than just fillers, Botox, or Sculptra. Reneuva's quietly becoming the go-to for those in the know, as this article quotes, "As demand rises for subtle, longer-term cosmetic solutions, experts expect the popularity of Reneuva to grow, particularly among public figures seeking results without obvious signs of intervention." I'll be continuing my Reneuva journey, so be sure to subscribe to this channel to follow my journey. And I just started another regenerative injectable that stimulates collagen and hyaluronic acid, and it just hit the market. And the best part is it's hundreds of thousands times more potent than PRP and PRF. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and watch these videos next to learn more about Reneuva or this other new regenerative injectable.